Hi there, my name's Michael and welcome to Tabletop-Infiltrator. Some extra content for you all this week. I got home from work yesterday and I had a package waiting for me. I absolutely love it when this happens. So today we'll be having a look at the next 4 issues of the Imperium Magazine, numbers 11, 12, 13 and 14. Let's jump in. And look at all this glorious stuff that I had turn up on my doorstep. Like I said, I'm well happy when I get a magazine subscription and all the bits that come through. So yeah, we've got issues 11, 12, 13 and 14. So we'll start off with number 11, I suppose. I'll get rid of all of this. And we've also got some free merchandise this month as well. So that's pretty good. Now, the Imperium Magazine is basically, every magazine seems to be the same format. You get some free miniatures or some paint or some free merchandise, something like that. And then in the magazine you got some fluff that goes along with some of the units that you're getting that month. You've got some painting guides, some building guides, and then you've got some rules. Some rules in there for you to allow you to use the unit that you've got, and then you've got like a mission set that you can play through with those individual units and models and add into your collection. So number 11, we have got it is a Phobos, a Librarian and Phobos Armour. So yeah, again, this is about what, £25, £22 from Games Workshop, £8.99. So if that's a unit that you're after, pretty good bargain. Now, to be honest, the Phobos Librarian, even though my army is Phobos heavy, I haven't really got a place for it because the psychic powers that he can take are not that great. You'd actually prefer to use an ordinary librarian. But again, it's a great miniature. I've got a Phobos theme to my army, so I will be painting him up eventually and adding him to my collection. You get the base with him as well. And the model looks brilliant as well. He's got like these stealthy robes on him and you can see the Phobos armour underneath. And his power sword looks great with that embellishment on there. Really cool. Yeah, really nice. I mean, it's going to be a bit tricky. I always find painting robes to be really difficult, but we'll see what happens. And then you also get a paintbrush, and this one's a dry brush. That's quite handy. And they're a good couple of quid from GW as well, so it's quite a bargain. And then the magazine itself, so it goes through the Phobos Armour, the Librarian, so some background fluff, building and painting, and then a playthrough. So it gives some really nice fluff on there. Description of the unit. Space Marine Librarian. Again, battle record, so you can personalise your model. And again, I love all this fluff, so really cool. And then moving on to it gives a little bit of Necron stuff here as well. Some descriptions of some Necron close combat weapons. That's cool. And then we've got the how to build section. And these are the same as any other GW instructions that you get. You've got the how to paint guide, and all these paints that that the guide is showing you. If you've got the subscription, you're getting them every 4 weeks. You'll have these paints. Included. So yeah, just working it through stage by stage. And then moving on to the playthrough. So I think this is the first psychic unit that's been in the Imperium Magazine collection. So I was just be moving on to giving you essentially a psychic phase and a playthrough. So this is the rules for it. And then you've also got the playthrough. So it looks like the Librarian versus some Scarabs. Yeah. And then versus the Royal Warden as well. It's pretty good. So that's issue 11, and I've got the folder that I got with the last 4. So I'm gonna add it into there, add it to the collection with the rest of them. And moving on to number 12. That. So issue 12, we've got some paints with this one. So we've got Agrath Earthshade, which is actually a paint that I need. It's a wash that I need, a shade, and I'll be using that for my tabards and my blade guard when I get those painted up. And then you've got a layer paint, Canoptic Alloy. That might be quite good when I move on to the painting the Necrons. I can use it as like a highlight or something. And then you get another base colour, Screamer Pink, which is actually handy because this is how I've done some of the robes on some of my HQ units, like my Captain and my Primaris Apothecary. They're tabards and robes and bits and pieces. An old Terminator that I did, he had a robe on and I used Screamer Pink, so that's quite useful for me. And then issue 12, it looks like a Necron one. So we've got some Necron Wargear names, some new paint, which I've just gone through, and new rules for heroes and games. And I do like the artwork as well on here. Pretty cool. Might give you some like terrain ideas, some of that. That's cool. So again, the usual format for the magazine. You've got fluff and some lore. Looking at the Imperial Nihilus. So the Imperial Nihilus lies beyond the rolling warp storms that make up the Great Rift, cut off from the terror and the blind to the Astronomicon's light. Those who dwell here face a legion of nightmarish foes. Cool. So again, some fantastic artwork. Some ships, Dante. Some Primaris Marines going up against some Black Legion, it looks like. I love this artwork, so cool. It's like orbital gun. You know what this reminds me of? If you've ever watched Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, the ion cannon that fired up into orbit against the Star Destroyers always reminded me of those like roundish, spherical orbital batteries. Really cool. We've got a load of fluff and lore going on here. Looks like a fortress monastery style. I think this is when the Thousand Sons invaded Fenris, I think. Cool. So make some good reading here. And then we're moving on to the paint guide. So looking at some scarabs. And then the little rocks that some of the units are on, that GW likes to put on their models now. It's not GW official if it's not standing on a rock. And then painting guide. So looking at your captain that you've got, your aggressors, your lieutenant, your assault intercessors. All the paints that you've received so far have allowed you to get your models to this stage, and then it's just adding down here. So you're gradually building up your army. Like I said, perfect if someone's just starting, getting into the game. This is fantastic. And then if you're a veteran hobbyist, this is just great to add to your collection. So it's looking at the Necrons as well. Brilliant. And then moving on to the playthrough, you've got Defending the Crypts. So The Necron Overlord has risen from his slumber and gained control of his forces. However, his crypt complex remains under siege. He accompanies his phalanxes of Necron warriors as they stalk the corridors, hunting down the intruders. Cool. So again, your data sheets, the rules for the mission, and just the playthrough. And this looks like it's the Assault Intercessors with the captain against the warriors and the overlord. Nice. So yeah, that's issue 12. Again, for me, quite handy because I'm going to use those 3 paints. So it's pretty good. And there's also some nice lore and fluff in that one. Excellent. And then moving on to issue 13. So issue 13, we've got something a little bit free in there as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Assault Intercessors. I think these are the push fit ones, which is fine. Now you can get Assault Intercessors anywhere and everywhere. They've been released in like every single box set, so they're really cheap. But I find I am planning to include in like another maybe 2 squads of 5 or squad of 10 into my army at some point. Maybe 2 squads of 5, because they are, at the end of the day, they're Primaris Marines. The way I play them, you get the Born Heroes, so you're hitting on 2s when you charge. 6s pop extra hits with Whirlwind of Rage. I play them as White Scars. They're damage, +1 damage, and to melee weapons in the Assault Doctrine. So you can really surprise your opponent with a squad of these. I mean, bare bones, you're looking at 95 points for a squad of 5. You can dish out a huge amount of attacks. And if you don't want to, and also that 9th edition is like a trading game really, and 95 points is quite cheap for Space Marines. You can just run up onto a point and hold them. So I'm quite happy with that. And I've got a few more of these, so it's been a cheap way of, I think these are like 29 pounds or 30 pounds or something like that from GW. So for a squad of 5 for $8.99, it's not bad. So happy with those. And then obviously you get the bases of them. And then you've got something here to add into the little folder. So there are as many as 1,000 Space Marine chapters in the known galaxy. Some were born of the first founding and they have a history that goes back 10,000 years. Others are new founded, also of the Emperor, and fight in his wars with unquestioning loyalty. Cool, so wow, this is going to be some great reading. So you've got a map of the Imperium there with a great rift running through it. Imperium Sanctus and Imperium Nihilis. Fleet-based chapters, which is what my chapter is, the Redeemers. Chapter planets, adaptive societies at war. This is brilliant. I love all these little bits and pieces. So I'm going to be adding that to my folder and having a read of that. Brilliant. And then issue 13, again following the same format. We've got Assault Intercessors. Yeah, nice. And also, if you want to do some conversion work, like I'm thinking of like chopping off the bottom of the chainsword and buying like a Primaris power sword off of eBay. I think you can get one for like £1.50 or £2 or something, and just sticking it on there, and I can give the unit a power sword. And then probably magnetise the arms so I can swap them out if I want to give them like a thunder hammer or something. It's pretty good. So again, battle records, heroic names. Really awesome artwork. Really awesome artwork. Loads of lore. Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen like a little sarcophagus for the Necrons. Old ones in the Eldari. This will be really fascinating to read this. I like all of this. That's brilliant. And then the how-to build guide. These are really simple. They literally just push fit. When I made mine, when I got the Indominus box set, I literally didn't even glue them. I just pushed them together. And then you've got the build guide, and then the playthrough. So the resurrection orb. So deep within the Overlord's personal armory, the Space Marine captain and his forces have located the Overlord's resurrection orb, and they intend to destroy it. Scorpec destroyers and Canoptic scarabs have been dispatched to kill the interlopers and secure the precious orb. Excellent. So again, gives you all the data sheets, the rules, and the playthrough. Excellent. So yeah, that is issue 13. So I think for me personally, again, because I'm collecting Space Marines and I want to add the Assault Intercessors some more into my army, 899, brilliant. And then finally, we've got issue number 14. Which I'm probably the most excited about, because this one, you've got some, it's the first of the scenery, and you get, just move that there, some crates. So the first terrain models, learn new painting skills using terrain in your games. So you've got some scatter, and then you've got an armoured Minotaur and armoured container, which I've really been wanting to get hold of for my terrain, to add some scatter, just to give it a little bit more personality. And the terrain and the containers will just break up some of those firing lanes that I've got on my terrain board. So yeah, I've actually really been wanting to get hold of some of these, which is perfect, because now I've got some. So that's excellent. And then the armoured containers and the scatter, so it just gives you an overview of them. What is this? Wow, this is an STC. Oh. Who would have known? Battle record. Oh wow, you can give it like a shipment cargo. So what the container contents? That's really cool. And you got some fluff around the Eldari. Wow, that's really cool. That's an awesome piece of artwork. An Eldar craft world, it looks like. Wow, that looks really cool. And then it's just got the how to build. Mine are literally, I'm not even going to be bothering with the storm bolters. It's just going to be the container. The doors are going to be sealed up and added to my terrain board. Brilliant. So you've got the building guide, the painting guide. It looks like you're using your dry brush to add some details on there. Nice. And then terrain rules. So this is be the first time that you're using terrain rules in the game. So it's just working through that. So perfect if you're just starting and building up. 40k is a complicated rule set. Not the core rules, but mostly like the codex rules can be a little bit bloated. So it's good that it's breaking it down for you. And then it's a playthrough. So secure the supply drop. So Imperial reinforcements have entered orbit around Megaria and began dropping ammunition and supplies. The Space Marines must secure these supplies before the Necrons destroy them. Perfect. So it looks like you've got some warriors up against some assault intercessors in this one. Brilliant. And then in 16, it looks like some more assault intercessors. So I'll have a squad of 10, that's perfect. 2 squads of 5, that was what I was after. Brilliant. And then 15 is some flayed ones. 15's flayed ones. Awesome. And then 16 is some more assault intercessors. Brilliant. I also forgot to mention that I got some, you get some free brushes this month as well. So they're Citadel brushes, obviously, and you get a base brush, a shading brush, and a layer brush as well. Now, they're not always the greatest of quality, these Citadel brushes, but if you look after them, they'll last you a while, and they do a good job. So yeah, handy those, and they'll come in use to me. Overall, I'm really happy with what I've got this month. The Phobos Librarian, I'll have to see how if his rules change in the future. Just because currently it just doesn't. They're not great. His psychic powers, and he can't use any others. He can't use any psychic powers from the other Librarius disciplines. So we'll have to see. But I love my Phobos armour. I love my infiltrating theme that I've got for my army. So yeah, I will paint him up, and I will add him to my collection. The free paints are brilliant because those are paints that I will be using. I think that if you were getting the subscription and you weren't making use of every single thing that was coming in, it may be not worth it. It may be worth picking up the individual magazines. But for me, like I said, I am collecting the vast range of this, and the paints have been really useful. The only bits that maybe not be applicable to me in the future issues is when it moves on to Sisters and Admech, because I just won't be collecting those. The Assault Intercessors, brilliant. I think they're a fantastic unit. They're cheap. The way I run them, they can be quite deadly, and you can just throw them onto a primary point if you want to hold them, and they can be that cheap trading unit that you can throw away if you need to. And then the Minotaur armament containers, I've been after some of these for ages. Like I said, I want some terrain that I can put to like break up the firing lanes on my terrain board, which is perfect. So yeah, this month I'm really happy with what I've received. Let me know your thoughts. Are any of these issues something you're going to be picking up? If you've got the subscription, how do you feel about what you've received? Yeah, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on it. If you've liked the video, consider giving me a thumbs up, and if you haven't, a thumbs down. I think the dislike button's still on there from YouTube. And if you want to support the channel and want to see more content, hit that subscribe button. I think it's down there in the corner there. Switch on notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll hopefully see you next time.